Hare Krishna YouTubers. So this lesson is entitled Bablu Das. So who is Bablu Das? From what little I know, Bablu Das is a famous Mridanga teacher who's based in Mayapur in Vrindavan. And for the last several decades, he's been teaching many famous Mridanga players all over the world in classical Indian music, especially traditional Mridanga playing. Now, from what I know, from the knowledge given by Bablu Das, that there are, just like there are four Sampradayas in our Vaishnava tradition, like Brahma Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, Sri Sampradaya, and Kumara Sampradaya, there are also four Sampradayas for Mridanga playing. So this is what is meant by traditional Mridanga playing. So in case you YouTubers don't know, I'm not an expert Mridanga player, and this is the disclaimer, I haven't appeared in any of the traditional Mridanga Sampradayas, but I did learn from a teacher, and Bablu Das, he's probably one of the most famous person that people go to from Mridanga playing, and he's also said that it's an offense to speculate different Mridanga beats. Admittedly, some of my rhythms are speculative, but I try to do the best I can as far as seeing others play, since it's not very convenient for people to always go to India and learn traditional Mridanga playing, because it takes money and time, so it's very time consuming, so it's not very practical. So I'll try to do the best I can. So, but hypothetically speaking, suppose somebody from my objective point of view, suppose somebody learn traditional Mridanga playing, but if they're very proud, and if you compare that to somebody who hasn't learned traditional Mridanga playing and they're very humble, which will be considered best? So obviously the one who's more humble. So in that sense, the most important quality in any endeavor is humility, and humility is defined in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 13, verses 8 through 12. It's defined as the first quality of knowledge. And Sri Prabhupada's purport to those particular verses, he states that humility means that one should not be anxious to have the satisfaction of being honored by others. The material conception of life makes us very eager to receive honor from others. But from the point of view of a man in perfect knowledge who knows that he is not this body, anything, honor or dishonor pertaining to this body is useless. One should not be hankering after this material deception. So, in that sense, obviously one who hasn't learned traditional Mridanga playing and is very humble is, considered, best ultimately. So, a few mantras that I learned from watching Bablu Das is Prabhupada Tal, also known as daspahira. And I'll give the mantras that he gives. Actually, if you look in the favorites of the videos, you'll see that he's up there in my favorites. And I'll give some of the few mantras that I tried to learn from him based on the mantras given by my teacher, who I'm very indebted to and grateful for his time and patience for teaching Mridanga. So remember Prabhupada. So Prabhupada Tal is a very important rhythm. So the Prabhupada Tal we learned, remember, this is probably the first rhythm, aside from 10 Tal that we learned in the first lesson, first rhythm or Tal. Prabhupada Tal is the most common one. It's probably the one you should really learn. So the one we learned is ke-ta-ghe-dha, dhin-da-dhin-da, dha-ti-ti-ti-ratirati-dha. Now the one Bablu Das does, as you can see in the favorites, I'm not going to exactly say the mantras that he does. I'll say the ones that I learned from my teacher, or some of them that I learned from Bablu Das. So the one that Bablu Das does is ke-ta-ghe-dha-ghe-dha-dha, uru-te-te-ta. So ke-ta-ghe-dha, He doesn't go ge-da. He goes ke-ta-ghe-dha, ke-ta-ghe-dha-ge-da-ge-da-da, ta. Uru-te-te-ta. Now guru, remember guru? But that's not the guru we're doing. The guru is only on one side. That's guru. From what I'm speculating ultimately, but from seeing him doing that, looks like what he does. Guru. Tere. That's guru. Fast. Guru. Guru. It's similar to te-re-ke-ta. Guru. Te-te-ta. Not te-te, the one we learned, but te-te-ta. Guru. Te-te. Guru. Te-te-ta. Guru. Te-te-ta. So he goes ke. I'll do it from the side. Ke-ta-ghe-dha-ge-da-ge-da-da. Ta. Uru-te-te-ta. So he does that. He also does a Tehai that I showed in the previous lesson, but when I closely looked at him, I noticed I came more closer to what he actually does. So the mantra, you'll recognize his Tehai, but it's a little different from what I previously showed. It's dha-ta-ti-ti, beginning. It's dha-ta-ti-ti, wait, dha-ta-ti-ti. So it's te-re-ke-ta-ghe-ta-ghe-ta-ghe-ta-ghe-ta-ghe-ta-ghe-ta-ghe-ta-dha, te-re-ke-ta-ghe-ta-ghe-ta-ghe-ta-dha, te-re-ke-ta-ghe-ta-ghe-ta-dha, te-re-ke-ta-ghe-ta-ghe-ta-dha. I'll say it one more time. Te-re-ke-ta-ghe-ta-ghe-ta-dha, te-re-ke-ta-ghe-ta-ghe-ta-dha, etc. So remember, rati. Ra with the capital T is Ra and Ge. Rati. Ra-ra-ti, Ra. Ge-ti-ta. Rati, ra-ra-ti, ra. Ge-ti-ta. Ge-ti-ta. Rati, ra. Ra-ra-ti, ra. Ge-ti-ta. So let's go from ge-ti-ta. It's ge-ti-ta, ke-te-re-ke-ta-ghe-ta, ge-te-re-ke-ta-dha, ta-ta. So ge-ti-ta. Ge-ti-ta, ke-te-re-ke-ta-ghe-ta, ge-te-re. Ge-ti-ta, ke-te-re-ke-ta-ghe-ta, ge-te-re-ke-ta-dha, ta-ta. So that's that one. And so yeah. He usually does his Tehai after he does Prabhupada Tal, as you can see in the video. So, and then there's one more that he does, not in the video in my favorites, but in another video for Kahira Tal that he does. It's a Tehai, and the Tehai that I did is previously is dha-ta-ti-ti, dha-ta-ti-ti, dha-ratirati-dha-ratirati-dha. Well, I changed it. It's much easier when he does it, and this Tehai is dha-ta-ti-ti, dhin-ratirati-dha-ratirati-dha. Remember? Dha-ta-ti-ti, dha-ta-ti-ti, dha-ta. Etc. You get it. So I'll do some music hopefully before I run out of the video. Hare Krishna,